I have a big decision coming up, and that's whether or not you go to college or straight to the NBA. The thing that bothers me the most about this decision is when I'm walking down the street, I'm walking in the mall, going to get a hat or something, and somebody I've never, ever seen before comes up to me and tells me what they want me to do. I'm like, what's going on here? I know you.
And joining us now is somebody who hopes to be in the NBA playoffs maybe next year at this time, Kobe Bryant, who has applied himself eligible for the NBA draft. Kobe, you made the decision this week, and it has been debated back and forth throughout the week, as I'm sure you have heard. Tell me the process you went through to come to the decision of making yourself eligible for the NBA draft.
I suppose the big question, because so few have done it, and most have failed, as you know, come out of high school to the pros.
Just the challenge that was there.
Well, college would have been a challenge.
It would have been a challenge, but when people say that you have the opportunity to go to the NBA and play against the greatest players in the world, that doesn't get you going. I don't think anything will.
Middle-class family. Why jump down?
Well, I love the competition. In college, there's great competition, but in the NBA, it's the best players in the world. And I love to play against the best players in the world. You can go in there and you can learn from them. Michael can give you 40, 50, or however, but you can learn.
Kobe went on to have a successful NBA career. He left a 20-year-long lasting legacy with the Lakers and the entire NBA, and he will always be remembered. Many players try to model his work ethic and drive as they try to flourish and succeed just like him. However, just like many things in life don't happen right away like you may want them to. When Kobe first came into the league, he was faced with one of his toughest times, which was one of many low points that he faced in his career. He even mentioned that he was reconsidering college after being drafted right out of high school.
Hey man, if I knew the shit was gonna be like this, I would've went to school. Interesting. Right, because I felt like my coach, Dale Harris at the time, was trying to make sure he did not show favoritism to the young kids.
Mark my words, and I said this earlier in the season, it's gonna be unbelievable. I mean, and I'm not saying that because you're here. I see him every day in practice.
Slide him a couple of times.
I see him every day in practice. I see how this kid works. I see how he, after practice, how he's still in the gym before practice. I know he goes to Pacific Palisades and shoots in their gym after school. He is just a tremendous talent.
My beeper is beeping, so let me quick pause as I grab the microphone. It's for all of y'all.
My name is Kobe Bryant. I'm 17 years old, and I've been lucky enough to live not only in different parts of the United States, but Europe as well.
First, let's kick it off with high school right before the 1996 NBA draft. Kobe earned national recognition during his spectacular high school career at Lower Merion High School in Ardmore, Pennsylvania. He played on a varsity basketball team as a freshman. Fast forward to his senior year, he led the Aces to their first state championship in 53 years.
Jermaine Griffin, the number 22, Deuce back-to-back champions. Where's it say that again, please? We won the state champion, kid. Don't you ever forget it. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. See you. Wait, what is it? 1996? 1996. See you in a little bit. Thank you very much. Here are the Aces. Word up.
Averaged 31 points a game last year, 12 rebounds. He got 6 or 7 assists a game, 4 blocks. He just did it all. And his team won the state.
Yeah, that state championship really meant a lot to me. In the previous years, it's all been individual goals. And, coming to my senior year, everybody put so much pressure on myself and my team to win the state championship. And after we won it, it was just like the biggest relief in the world.
During the run, he averaged 30 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, and 3 blocks, leading the Aces to a 31-3 record.
Message! You're sitting on the couch, you're watching and your life is passing you by. You keep procrastinating over and over. Well, no, do it right now. Why are you making it complicated? It's easy.
Bryant ended his high school career as Southeastern Pennsylvania all-time leading scorer with 2,883 points, surpassing Wilt Chamberlain. Bryant received several awards for his outstanding senior year. Just a few to mention: the Naismith High School Basketball Player of the Year, Gatorade Men's National Basketball Player of the Year, a McDonald's All-American, a First Team Parade All-American, and a US Today All-USA First Team Player, attracting attention from college recruiters in the process. Duke, Michigan, North Carolina, and Villanova were at the top of his list. His basketball skills and his SAT score of 1,080 would have ensured to get him to any college that he chose.
What are some of the other schools that were in the running before you made your decision formal?
Michigan, LaSalle, and Villanova, as well as North Carolina.
Did you ever feel pressured, Kobe, to go to LaSalle because your dad was an assistant there?
No, not at all. I understood that this was my decision to make. My father understood that, and if anything, he encouraged me to make my own decision and to be an individual. So I felt no pressure at all.
But he did not officially visit any campuses.
I declare each and every one of you a graduate of the Hornet.
Ultimately, the 17-year-old made the decision to go directly into the NBA after high schooler Kevin Garnett went in the first round of the 1995 NBA draft.
A year ago, is Kevin Garnett sitting where you are? Have you talked to him? What advice has he given you?
He's talked to me. He's told me a lot of stories and a lot of experiences that he was going through. But all in all, he said it has to be your own decision. You know, he said that he can give me a lot of pros and cons, but ultimately it has to be my decision.
And so he did, which made Kobe only the 6th player in NBA history to do so.
Like, I mean, you really think that you can step up and play with the best in the world?
I hope so. I don't know. I don't know yet. I haven't played a regular season game. Those just pickup games. But I do know that I'm going to work extremely hard, and whatever happens, happens. If I'm not a success, then I'll have to work harder. I have to work harder.
And Hubie, this is a guy whose stock has risen every time he's tried out. People like this kid.
Well, everyone writing when he first came out, well, he's going to have to bulk up. This guy is 200 pounds at 6'6". He is an offensive whiz. He's very, very talented. He has all pro moves. And when you look at him, you're talking about a young man with range. He can go off the dribble. He can get his shot. And in every place that he worked out, nothing but raves. No one talking about any shortness or a weakness in his game.
You know, most kids that grow up watching the NFL or the NBA dream and can see themselves wearing a particular jersey or playing for a certain team. Is there a certain team that you have been dreaming to wear their jersey?
Right now, I just want to get out there and play.
You don't want to paint yourself in the corner, do you?
Well, I really don't care, to tell you the truth. I just want to get out there and play basketball. When I was little, I always was a Magic Johnson fan. I love Magic Johnson. I love the LA Lakers. But right now, it doesn't matter to me.
Alrighty then, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
I always was a Magic Johnson fan. I love Magic Johnson. I love the LA Lakers.
With the 13th pick in the 1996 NBA Draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Kobe Bryant from Lower Merion High School in Pennsylvania.
Here in America, I wanted to prove everybody wrong that told me I couldn't do it. When I came back here, I just played as hard as I possibly could and played every single moment. Here I am.
Before the 1996 NBA Draft, the Lakers were looking to trade their starting center, Vlad Divac, for a player's draft rights to free up salary cap space to make an offer on free agent Shaquille. The Charlotte Hornets head coach at the time said that the Hornets agreed to trade their number 13th pick to the Lakers the day before the draft. Before the trade agreement, the Hornets never considered drafting Bryant. During the draft, the Lakers told the Hornets whom to select minutes before their pick was made. After the draft, the trade was put into jeopardy when DeVick threatened to retire rather than be traded from Los Angeles. However, on June 30th, DeVick relented on his threat and the trade was final on July 9th, 1996.
I always was a Magic Johnson fan. I love Magic Johnson. I love the LA Lakers.
Since Bryant was still a 17-year-old at the time, his parents had to co-sign his contract with the Lakers until he was able to sign his own when he turned 18 before the regular season began. Bryant signed a 3-year rookie contract totaling $3.5 million.
Finding cousins that you never met before out of the woodwork now that you stand on the verge of making all this money?
Well, if you want to call people that you never seen before cousins, I guess I met a lot of them.
What's it really feel like to put on the gold and purple?
Right, well, it feels great because there's just so much pride, behind the uniform and the legacy that's behind the uniform. I remember growing up and seeing Irvin Johnson coming to the NBA with the LA Lakers and winning all the championships, him and Mr. Scott and Worthy and so forth. And when I step on the court, you just feel so much pride to try to carry on the tradition, carry on the legacy that Mr. West and Chamberlain and the captain, they all had there and they all instilled there. It's like a dream come true. Ever since I got traded from Charlotte to LA, it seems like I've been dreaming, and hopefully I won't start dreaming to the day I retire.
And at the other guard from Lower Merion High in Pennsylvania, 6'5", number 32, Kobe Bryant.
It was finally time for 17-year-old Kobe Bryant to make his NBA Summer League debut. The high school phenom from Philly scored a team-high 27 points against the Detroit Pistons. After the game, Pistons head coach Alvin Gentry was impressed about the rookie by saying, "I have never seen a better player at his age at his position." Kobe would go on to dominate the Summer League. But then, right before training camp, it was rumored that he broke his left wrist playing in a pickup game at Venice Beach and couldn't practice for 5 weeks. The vets on the team at the time told young Kobe not to do anything to jeopardize his season. But what do they expect, a 17-year-old from the East Coast to not to enjoy his time?
You learned a lot in the Summer League, I'll bet you.
Definitely, I've learned how to play the NBA style of play. The physicalness, the mental toughness that you need to get in there and get the job done. And the season in the NBA, I understand it's going to be a roller coaster season for myself, but I'm willing to get in there and learn from these guys.
Yeah.
He spent countless of hours in the trainer's room rehabilitating his wrist to get him back on the court. On November 3rd of 1996, Kobe made his official NBA debut against the Minnesota Timberwolves and a second-year Kevin Garnett. Shaquille dominated, 35 points and 19 rebounds, but Kobe played only 6 minutes, finishing with 0 points, 1 rebound, 0 assists, 1 block, 0 steals, 1 turnover, 1 foul, and just 1 field goal attempt.
Kobe Bryant, last night you get your first start as a pro. How'd it feel?
It felt good. It felt good, going out, for the starting lineup. I tried to keep a straight face and keep a serious look, but, I couldn't help but cracking a little smile.
He would go on to score his first point 2 days later in a game against the Knicks and finish with just 1 point in 3 minutes of action.
Byron Scott, Eldon Campbell back on the floor with Brooks, and Kobe Bryant making his first appearance in Madison Square Garden. 18 years of age, and he'll go to the free throw line. Go ahead.
Kobe Bryant by mid-season will be a guy that, though he's 18, he'll be a key guy for the Lakers.
There is his first point in the NBA.
Bryant mostly came off the bench behind guard Eddie Jones and Nick Van Exel.
And it comes at the age of 18 years, 2 months, and a couple of days.
Not a bad arena to score it in either.
Can you imagine what he thought when he walked in here today?
Oh, man.
1 for 2, gets the follow shot. Finds Van Exel, puts it up, and starts.
At the time, he became the youngest player to ever play in an NBA game at 18 years old, since Jermaine O'Neal and former teammate Andrew Bynum. Initially, Kobe played limited minutes, which took a toll on him. Bryant revealed to legendary UConn women's basketball coach, Coach K, that he didn't enjoy his rookie season because of his lack of playing time, but that will ultimately allow him to mature and approach every practice with a focused mindset. I hated it. It was really, really rough. I wasn't playing much at all, and I was seeing my peers, Allen Iverson, Ray Allen, and Sharif Abdul-Rahim. These guys were out there playing and performing at a high level, and I felt like I could compete with them, but my butt was glued to the bench. When I would get in, the minutes were sporadic. What I decided to do was, how can I be efficient? How can I come into the game and make an impact quickly in certain areas? And then in practice, I had to work extremely hard because I had to earn my minutes. I had to be able to prove that I can do this, that, and the other. So although I was going through it, I hated it. But in looking back, it helped me tremendously because it helped me behave and take every practice as if it was life or death. During the 1996 and 97 season, Bryant played in 71 games, only starting in 6 of them. He averaged 15 minutes per game and averaged 7 points per game. That season, Allen Iverson won the Rookie of the Year award, and Kobe was named the All-Rookie second team. During the All-Star weekend, Bryant participated in the Rookie Challenge and won the 1997 Slam Dunk Contest, becoming the youngest dunk champion at the age of 18. The Lakers advanced to the Western Conference semifinals in a playoff game against Utah Jazz, when Bryant was pressed into a lead role at the end of Game 5. For the Lakers, Byron Scott missed the game with a sprained wrist. Robert Horry was ejected for fighting the Utah's Jeff Hornacek, and Shaquille was fouled out with 1 minute and 46 remaining in the fourth quarter. 18-year-old Kobe had the ball in his hands in the final moments of a must-win playoff game against the Jazz. He shot with confidence, we have all come to know. But on that night, instead of game-winning glory, he got 4 air balls, and the Lakers lost in a overtime, 98-93. And it was a turning point for Kobe, who would spend the entire offseason working on his shot from sun up to sun down.
What is that? Oh shit! What is that? Who you fighting?
In his second year, Bryant saw minutes increase but still came off the bench. He did average more points, scoring 15 points per game, but he felt as though he wasn't getting a fair shot. When the Lakers played small, which would feature Kobe playing small forward alongside the guard he would usually back up, this period of time was difficult for him, and even considered a return to college, just so he could prove how good he was and how deserving he was of playing time. On an episode with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson's podcast, he talked about how frustrated he was and that he wasn't getting playing time.
What was a low moment in your career? Like at the beginning of the journey was not playing. So coming in as a rookie and saying, man, if I knew shit was gonna be like this, I would've went to school.
Interesting.
Right, because I felt like my coach, Dale Harris at the time, was trying to make sure he did not show favoritism to the young kid. And as a result, he swung completely the opposite direction and doing things that weren't really fair. And I mean, not playing, you know? So like my first 2-3 years were nightmares.
See, people don't know that. People don't know that. People don't know you went through that your first 3 years.
No, it was tough. I mean, I sit around, I watch all my peers going out there playing 35, 37 minutes. You know, AI, Ray Allen, they're all doing their thing. Sharif Abdul-Rahim, everybody's doing their thing. And I'm sitting here glued to the bench, getting really, really pissed off and ticked off, thinking I should have just gone to college. I mean, that was the hardest part.
Kobe was the runner-up for the NBA Six Man of the Year award, and through fan voting, He also became the youngest NBA All-Star starter in NBA history.
Represent you playing the All-Star game at 19 years of age?
It means the world to me. This is my first All-Star game, playing here in New York City with all these great basketball players. It's an incredible feeling. I'm glad it's finally arrived.
He's got the ball in his hands again. To Garnett, back to Kobe.
Oh! That's twinkle toes right there, man. Twinkle toes.
Bryant with a three, displaying the full range. He's got men.
All-Star game, it's been quick, just like that. Mike's the MVP, well-deserved, incredible basketball player. Mecca basketball right here in New York City, MSG, Madison Square Garden. Get it, behind the scenes look. Catch you back in LA. 4, showtime, baby.
Kobe could have easily checked out because he wasn't getting playing time that much in his early years, but he was determined to become one of the greatest players in the league. And when he got that opportunity, he did not disappoint. He did eventually earn significant minutes as by his third year in the NBA, when he was averaging 37 minutes per game. When starting guards Van Axel and Jones were traded, Bryant started every game for the lockout shortened 50-game season.
What was that breakthrough when it was okay and that your number was called? Did someone get hurt? He finally just started trusting you? What was it?
During the lockout season, when the season started, Rick Fox had plantar fasciitis in both feet. But he wanted to play somebody else in front of me, and that person got hurt. And so then he had no choice but to start me, as small forward. And so this was when like small forwards was
big.
Small forwards.
Yeah,
this was KG, this is Abdul Rahim, this is Pip, this is like, so I started the first 10 games at small forward. I think I started like 7 straight double-doubles or something like that. And then I've been in the starting lineup ever since.
No looking back.
But who the hell knows how long when I came off the bench before Rick didn't get injured. So
it's crazy when you see that, man.
It was really, really rough.
Even in an early stage of his career, sports writers were comparing his skills to those of Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson.
In fact, you do some things like Michael. Jordan, I'm talking about.
Growing up, I always tried to dissect different players even at an early age, whether it's Magic, Michael, Pippen, whoever. I try to take different parts of the game and put them into my game so I can be a well-rounded athlete.
The playoffs results, however, were no better, as the Lakers were swept by the San Antonio Spurs in the Western Conference semifinals. His game matured a lot from his first few seasons, and you could tell that he was putting in work during the offseason. Bryant used those first few seasons as fuel to become a player that people will never forget. With a player of Bryant's caliber, it is hard to believe there is ever a time where he was getting reduced minutes. But at that time, rookies really had to be obvious all-star players to get minutes right away. Unlike today, where rookies are more often thrown into the fire right away. He did a lot for the Lakers organization and the NBA in general. His legacy will continue to live on.
Just walking around, it's pretty cool.
Couldn't be more proud of you than to be my own son, man.
In my first All-Star game, you was in elementary school.
No doubt.
The only time I've been nervous for a game is '98. All-Star game, How good is that, though? You know what I mean?
No, it seemed like yesterday. It was in New York, right? No. It means the world to me. This is my first All-Star game, playing here in New York City with all these great basketball players. It's an incredible feeling.
The name Kobe's a great name. I got to tell you, I like that name. Your dad told me what it means in Japanese. Tender beef? I just don't see you and look and go, tender beef.
I appreciate you for making it to the end. But wait, before you click off, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that thumb that's facing upward to let YouTube know. And if for some reason you didn't, hit that one that's facing down 2 times to lock it in indefinitely. Nah, but make sure you hit that subscribe with post noties on. I'm going to continue a series to cover Kobe throughout the years and even more documentary style basketball related topics. See you in the next one, gang.